Okay, welcome traders. Here we are. In a few moments, we will begin our 2 p.m. recap, or I should say update, if you will. We're just waiting for a few stragglers to show up. And then we'll begin. Let me just make sure I have all the windows in place that's necessary. And I do. So, of course, we won't get into it yet, but that is your Nasdaq daily bar chart. In about 5 minutes, we'll figure out what to do with it. Let's try. All right, so good day, everybody. Can't see what I'm writing, it's so far away. It's too bad that doesn't have sound, huh? The chat, which opens up live on YouTube Live, doesn't have a sound, so I can never tell when you guys are typing to me. I have too many windows open, can't pay attention to it. But we have others paying attention for you, so if you ask questions, we'll get to them, and we have traders writing them down. How are the dogs? Dogs are great. They're great. Make sure you write their names. What do I think about the DAX? We'll see if we can find it. We'll look around. So again, just waiting for a few traders to come in and we'll begin. We have about 4 minutes left. I literally had a countdown clock. It was counting down for us right here. And 2 minutes before this presentation, I had to reboot my whole system. So countdown clock is no longer present. I'll have one for tomorrow. Want to social network that for me, Dano? Take a look at OIH. Make sure you write that down. It's Chris. We will see if we can find it. I'll pull up anything that I can find as far as the ticks are concerned or the data we'll go over. All right, just 3 minutes to go.
What is the OIH?
I should make a little background on this. 1 second, though. Build that box. This way we'll have a little background. What is this right here? What's this? Wow. Well, thank you, Dak.
Exactly.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Dak.
5 times.
I'm typing in caps for a reason. When I type on the charts, it looks better in capitals. It'll just look better on the chart that way. But hey, thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciate that. Very, very choppy out there today, as we'll see on the charts. Very interesting day. All right, we will begin in 1 moment. It'll be the longest countdown in the world, I assure you. Remember here.
Mhm.
All right. Told you this would be a very long minute. All right. It is 2 p.m. Traders, thank you for tuning in. Welcome, welcome, welcome to livewithoscar.com. I appreciate you guys from YouTube tuning in. Lisa, hi, sweetie, my
Hi.
wife, my lovely wife, partner in this business forever, is taking notes. So if you are requesting certain stocks, if I can find the data, we'll go over them for you. Please remember, before we get started, you should always know this. Trading is a very risky game. You can lose more money than you have in your trading accounts if you're in futures, naked short options. There are many ways to end up in a margin call, which means you've got to add money into your account in this business. So please place your stops first so that will hopefully not happen to you. The stop keeps you out of trouble, and know the risks behind this game, okay? Let's get started. So you're looking at the Nasdaq daily bar. It is Monday afternoon. If you weren't paying attention this weekend, and thank you, Lisa, for bringing it to my attention, Janet Yellen had a little yap session, Auntie Jay, and she mentioned higher interest rates and that it wouldn't be such a bad thing. But if Powell's not mentioning them, she should not go there. When you do something like that, you create volatility. Markets start not knowing how to read that. And I'll explain that to you. So, you're looking at the Nasdaq daily bar. This is the 50 bar moving average, and as you can see, they are clearly keying off of this average, right? If it gets above, they will buy it. If it gets above and fails, they sell right back into it again. So it basically started around February that they just fell into the 50. Algorithms are using it, and as you can see, gets under, they sell it. Can't get above, they sell it again. Can't get above, they sell it again. That's different. It breaks out to the upside above the average. Nice swoon, right? And then it holds the average, rallies up. Here again, breaks the average. Immediately, they start selling below. You can see they're keying off of the 50 bar moving average, one of the things. We get above it, create this weird looking F flag, drop out of the F flag, and I know it's not drawn there for you. We get below, holds, they buy it immediately. So they are keying off of this 50 bar moving average. You've got Nasdaq that, it looks like it's having trouble today. This is today's daily bar. So you would think it's having trouble, but then you look at something like the Russell 2000, and this is what I left as of last night on my analysis. We did buy the Russell today, by the way. It was the only one we were looking to buy. So Omni wanted to get long Russell, but I left this and said this is where we stand. And you've seen this on Friday. We've got this major resistance line, and Russell is having difficulty getting above it. At the same time, it is holding inside of this parallel channel. So you have nice support and resistance moving back and forth here. Here's your parallel channel. Let me make it a little darker so it makes more sense to you. And we'll uninterrupt that. So it's staying inside the parallel channel, but the bigger picture here is, will it get above this red line? Well, we're going to add today, Monday in, and my goodness, boy, did the Russ get above that line. So Nasdaq doesn't look nearly as good, but the Russ looks fantastic, right? Let's go see what else is out there. So now if we head back and we look at maybe E-mini S&P, let's go take a look at that. All right, so let's pull this into focus. There's too much on this chart. All right, so your E-mini S&P has been trying to get above the previous high. It's a double topping area right now, and it went near it, that red bar. Now I'll blow it up for you. It went near it, but it did not hit that double top yet and has started to back away. S&P doesn't look anything like the Russell does right now, nor does the Nasdaq. Russell looking good, S&P challenging at the moment, what could be a double top. Nasdaq looks like it's just having difficulty getting out of its own way. And then we've got something else to look at. Remember I showed you the transportation average and I told you if the price of crude continues, this is absolutely going to feel it? Well, look at the update since we spoke about this last. This is what's happened since we had our last video. Boom, boom, boom. So the transportation average looks terrible. Nasdaq looks confused. S&P's got a double top. Russell, gangbusters through the roof. The whole package is confused right now. I have somewhat of a feeling some of it could have come from this weekend's discussion, but it's already in the charts. This started long before Janet Yellen said a word, and why this is happening in your transportation average, if you ask me, is basically because of this. Let's go here. The price of crude is now getting into the 70s. It hit 70 this morning. Crude in the 60s is okay. Crude crossing the 70 mark, heading to the mid-70s, no good. Crude looks strong here. $70+ crude will wipe away our euphoric mood. I keep telling you this in every video. Now, it's not at $70. It's when it reaches the 70s and gets into the mid-70s. So you have a question about cotton. If you don't mind, write this down in the chat room, in my live chat room. Nyan, N-A-Y-A-N. He'd like to know what I think of cotton. And it's C-T, little c, then a 1, and that's how we'll get that on Metastop when we look for it. Yeah, but I think I have cotton on this machine. It's probably easy to find. We'll get to cotton. Before I leave this and go to Metastop, we'll do cotton first, all right? Because this is like my commodity machine, and then we'll go to the Metastop stock machine. All right, so crude oil, looking good here. Whether it pulls back or not, another story. But if you ask me, crude's getting too strong, and I think that's why your transportation average is starting to show such weakness. You know, crude, it's going to be felt everywhere in the world, in every country, in every company, in everywhere. So what is also bringing this on is the relentless slide of our dollar index. The dollar index staying below my OMNI average and dropping for months on end, finally gets above the OMNI average for a little while, has a rally, but that doesn't last very long. We get back below the OMNI average in a channel, out of the channel for 2 days, back in the channel. None of that looks good. And when dollars are weakening, the price of something like crude gets strengthened. So we've got, a little bit of a situation possibly going to create some turmoil in our markets. Now, before I start to look at individual stocks, we had a trader in my trading room looking for me to go, looking at cotton. So before I go over to Metastock, I will look at cotton here. Oh, that's the end of that. It blew up. So we'll find cotton. We'll find cotton on this machine. Don't you worry about it. Modern technology, kids. This has been going on for 6 days now. I updated my trading system I've had for 15 years, and it's just been giving me trouble ever since. Anyway, I have methods of getting past it. Don't sweat it. Because it's already before our eyes. Do you remember what we had here? The last day, we looked at this Ford chart. We were inside this pennant flag. And I told you, between the Ford F-150 coming out, the EV vehicle for $10,000 less than gas burner, and this pennant flag, it should explode. It rallied nicely so far. Explode for Ford, it doesn't go too fast. But it got right to the top of the channel. Got through it a little and came right back down, but that flag paid nicely. So that worked well, and we looked at this just last Thursday, and that's your Ford chart. So before I start to look at some of the other commodities, let me see if I can help you out in cotton. And now I'm going to use your symbol, and that was
CT.
CTC. No, it's a little c.
Yes.
And, oh no, and that's CTC, I got it. It's CTC1. That should give me, why would it give me May?
Cotton trades twice.
We want July. That's not working.
It's an Etch-a-Sketch.
That's cotton. Okay, so we do have cotton. Let's draw this up a little bit. That's an interesting chart. I used the symbol CTN1. Love the fact that it's riding around that average. I'll tell you what, Wall Street seems to like it. Let's remove this. Wall Street seems to like lately, and it changes, so you can't just count on the 50. But boy, does Wall Street seem to like this 50, huh? Look at this. This is the 50 ball moving average. Let's label that. I call it a 50 ball moving average because it's not calculating days, it's calculating bars. So this is your 50 ball moving average, right? And as you can see, we can tighten it up, but they're using something near the 50, and they've been using it for quite some time in cotton. And when it gets below, look, everybody starts to sell. Gets above, the buying comes in. So you can see they're using the 50. We've got that down. We can also see that cotton right now is starting to squeeze a little bit. So we can illustrate that by just going like this. And let me just remove this snap to price nonsense. All right. So I think we can see that cotton is starting to consolidate a little, come to what we'll call an apex at some point. I like the fact it's riding above that 50, as I mentioned. So let's make these lines a little thicker. In fact, instead of wasting time on that with each chart, let's just make all the lines thicker. Oh, I hit cancel, look at me. Let's just make all the lines thicker so I don't have to keep doing this. All right, so consolidating right there, right? You can see that that's happening. We have what looks to be a little bull flag here. I mean, in my version, I look for very little ones because I'm a day trader. So it looks like you had a very little bull flag right here. And then a breakout. And I'll blow this up a little bit for you once I draw it in. A little bit of a flag here. Let's pull that line down a little bit so it makes more sense. And then a breakout of that flag. Right, so you had that little bit of a flag right there, breakout of the flag. Down here, if you ask me, we had a failed bear flag. Something down here looks like it was probably a bear flag. So, if you come out of a failed bear flag, which would have been this big thing, all right, and then actually move into a bull flag, that's very positive for formation followers. Above the average, also very positive. So I say cotton, next move is, let's see what happens up here in the 88 range. And that's how I would view cotton for now, without running an OMNI, without finding out what OMNI thinks, without any of that sort of analysis. I would look at cotton in that manner.
Ready for the next?
Yep, what do we have next?
John King, the Dax 30.
For John King, the Dax 30. If you know a metastock symbol, you'll help, but we will try to find it. It's DXM1, possibly. That's going to be the dollar. Let's see what comes up on DAX. That's Canvas, is it right there? It's been this way for too long. This is an ETF of the DAX, but this, look at how choppy and nasty looking that is. This isn't the exact DAX, this is an ETF of it. Very bullish, but I wouldn't give you a price to buy and sell on this chart. I just don't like the bars, they're very choppy. They, not a lot of rhyme and reason to them. if you put a gun to my head, I would tell you to buy dips, and I could draw up something to prove it, but I don't really see anything here that I would want to tell you to do. If you're a fund manager, be long. Barring that, I wouldn't say anything else about this.
Okay. Chris McGinnis, the OIH.
The OIH
And
for
he
Chris.
said CNBC claims they put a year-end target of $700.
OIH, don't we have that already?
I don't know.
We saved that somewhere? I thought we did. I thought we had that somewhere. All right, we'll pull it up. And that's the one that we used. Just read it and make sure it's correct. Oof. Yeah, we did look at this last week. I remember this very chart. I know we looked at it. Let's put a template on it. Wow. So they gave a target of what?
$700 at the end of
They
the
gave
year.
a $700 target on this. Huh?
Wow.
$700
High hopes, huh?
target. Yeah, this is what happened for a long time while oil went down, but oil's not going down anymore. It's been going up. So if they're calling for 700 based on this, I don't know about 700 this year.
That's what the question said.
Nah, I don't think we're going. I would think you'd be blessed to see 400 this year. Maybe 360, 370. But anything's possible. I mean, we have a long way to go, right? A half a year. So, I mean, what I'm doing right now, believe it or not, is I'm just visualizing everything on this chart that I would normally draw up. It's the vector, right? If I remember right, this is the vector oil ETF. I think this one is the vector. Should say it up here. Oh, it's the Van Eck, not vector. Van Eck. So this one is the Van Eck. That's what this one is. All right, so. Now, this is a weekly chart we're looking at, not a daily. So obviously, if they're drawing lines on a weekly chart, they're calling this a breakout, right? So we broke out of this really major trend line. So let's change that to red so that you can see it better. You broke out of a major resistance line that literally started back in 2014. This is 2014 right here.
Chris said thank you, and he
So,
said yes, 700 by the end of the year.
2014 till 2021, we went from 1150 down to $50, $55. There's no shot you can move it that high in 1 year. It took that many years to come down. There's just no shot. Not unless the price of oil goes like to 140. So absolutely not. That's not going to happen. But there is something else that the street does pay attention to, and that's the 200. So let's start with this as our target. Let's see if the street expects the 200 bar moving average, which does come in right around 306, 305. We'll call it 310 just to give it a number. So let's give target of 310. All right? We'll worry about 700 once we get past 310.
Okay.
Anything next?
Gary wants to know about Goldman Sachs.
Just give me a, was it?
GS.
Yeah, so I think I already have this. I have it saved, but I'll just pull up a new. It's not. There you go. Oh, the ORD will be exactly what we need to see. Holy cow, it's still going. Last time I looked at this was a month ago, and it's still going up. Holy cow. Look at that. Well, will banking do better in a higher interest rate environment? Absolutely, positively, 1000%. So I think what you're looking at here is basically the fundamental that interest rates will be going up at some point. That's what I think we're looking at right now. Let me just mark this as Goldman. Oh, and I have the caps lock on, right? So, wow. Look at that wonderful chart. Once you got past this, it just exploded. So let's see what that top line, just a simple analysis on here tells us. Very simplified abstract analysis tells us that we have room on the upside still, right? See that? So let's make this green so it looks like some sort of a funnel type channel going on there. So you have room on the upside for a larger channel. If you just want to use that sort of analysis, look at this channel right here forming before your eyes. So you're in a smaller channel inside of a larger channel, and you got past this stuff. Look, you got past the previous two highs connected together, which certainly has to have a meaning to anybody who's doing analysis out there. You got past that as well. So well done, Goldman. Whoever is holding that, I'd say, if we, let me just do a quick calculation. We were down to 53. The first projection on this would have been 399. That would have been my first projection before we put in this channel. Would have been 399. So 399. Then I really don't. Okay, let's say 399, and then I can visualize the where else this could go. 409 is the next one. Janet doesn't say anything stupid and knock the markets down that Powell doesn't want her to say. I think this will just continue. And remember this. Keep that in mind as well when you look at Goldman. Although I have it's a bore. I can't look up while I type. I'll short circuit and my brain will explode. So you have that as well, and I'm saving this chart because we have some projections on it. GS update. We'll still call them the charts. We save update charts.
Okay.
All right. What else do we have?
To Oliver and UK Miko wants AMC.
Oliver from the UK, AMC. That ought to be fun.
No, Oliver and what's his name? GJMIT.
Oh, it's just Oliver.
Yeah. They're looking for AMC.
AMC. I'm sure we had that saved somewhere. I looked at it enough times. All right, we'll just pull it back up. I probably have it saved under its actual name. AMC. That's the one. That's my opinion. Book your profits before they're gone. what would AMC be doing up here? It's simply being squeezed. It's,
Yeah,
it's a pure
gotcha.
play. It's got no reason to be up this high.
Like
Up,
GameStop.
yes. This high, no. Yeah, it's like GameStop.
Zuzov wants to know if the BTC pennant is down or up.
Is the BTC pennant down or up? And so far, it's been down. It's been ugly. Oh, we don't want to do that. We want to open, right? BTC. Yeah, it's been ugly, kids, I have to tell you. Bitcoin. That's not it. That's it. Oh boy. How do we... This isn't the right chart. BTC. We need the new month, right? We're in June now.
It is June,
Yeah,
it's not a future.
that's better. That was an old chart from I don't know when. Ugh. You know what this tells me? Boy, am I going to have a chance to buy in the 20s. And this symbol is odd. It's like BTC equals sign. I'm not even going to put it up because it'll never work on anyone else's machine with this one. So, as you can see, and you know we've done this Bitcoin chart a lot, it's not trending towards the upside at the moment, right? That is not considered an upward-looking trend to me. I don't know about you guys. So, just looking at that, of course, simple on the eyes, you can see that. But this one is the troublesome thing that we have going on here. Because I don't know anyone that would call this a bull flag, not unless miraculously it breaks out to the upside. You can't imagine this not, this being called a bull flag, right? So, we have a bear flag here. And it's changing shape, by the way. But I'm going to call it this for now. And we'll see what happens, but I have to say that's not projecting towards the upside to me. So, we shall see.
Okay.
Alright, so what else
We
belongs
have a
here?
question from Twitter.
From Twitter?
Yes.
Who from Twitter, please?
I
wanna save this chart.
It says Twitter asked about a Google double top.
Ah, I've looked at that a bunch of times. BTC update. I've looked at that a lot of times.
3 minutes.
Amazon, right? Is that what you just asked me for? Oh, the Google. Google's double top.
Google.
Which one of these is the right one? This one is. So, we've looked at this a bunch of times together. I'm sure I've got it saved, but we'll just redraw it up because we can. So, look, as far as the double top is concerned, look at what's happening right now. Let's blow it up a little bit. That, and let's make this red. This represents our double top. Like the S&P, you've got to assume if this goes, S&P goes. It's a big part of our market, so that's your Google possible double top, or actually is a double top. It doesn't mean it's going to stop here, though. So, is this going to be a double top in the end? We're going to find out. According to Russell, not a chance. According to the transportation average, yes, it will be. According to Nasdaq, we don't know it. It doesn't seem to know anything this week, or at least today. And according to Google, yeah. So it's confused, and of course we take this one day at a time, but this is what we are looking at right now. And that's real. But don't forget, as I showed you in the E-mini S&P, same sort of thing going on here. This might as well be a Google chart right now, no? Look at this. Let me draw that same thing that I drew for you on Google, and you tell me if it doesn't look the same. So whatever Google will do, so will the S&P.
1 minute.
Thank you. In my opinion, anyway, this is S&P.
Maybe you could just answer this.
What do you got?
There's a lot of rumor on the media about coming inflation. What's your opinion, and what's the effect on the economy?
So, when you have markets that are rallying like this, like lumber, and other ones like copper, when you have markets that are industrial, and let's just label this as well. I got you. When you have markets that are industrial and rallying like this, and then you have crude oil that everyone moving anything on the planet is going to need, whatever. You know I used to have a crude oil chart, right? And you have crude oil rallying like this, and I am telling you now, this is not going to be good in the end if this continues. And so you've got these things. Then you've got Mr. DXY doing this. That's not going to be DXY. Let's just try the futures.
Dano said knock him and his Tesla.
Now, when you have the dollar doing this, I can assure you at some point the inflation will reach a point that the Fed's going to have to raise rates. So my answer to you is yes on inflation. And if crude goes, sooner than we think. So here is my opinion on your question. Yes, I see inflation. If crude continues, it will happen sooner than we think. Traders, thank you so much for tuning in. Please join me at livewithoscar.com. The trading room is absolutely free. No credit cards are required. And we can sit and continue more of this in my live trading room. The purpose, if you will, of me holding these each day is to hopefully drive you to my live trading room where I'm always online. On YouTube, I gotta watch what I say, I gotta watch what I play. They'll silence my videos. I play music all day. So I really can't be myself on YouTube. I can at livewithoscar.com. I hope to see everybody there.